be. Sean Spicer is the communications director for the Republican National Committee and joins me now. Sean, it is great to see you. Thanks for making time for me.
Absolutely, Thomas.
So let's talk about this Speaker Ryan announcement. Do you expect it to be a definitive statement that is going to lay to rest any potential for Paul Ryan swooping in and taking the GOP nomination?
Well, I think Speaker Ryan's made it very clear multiple times already. I think this will be the 18th or 19th time that he's had to say that he has no intention of running. He wants to be at the forefront of setting the policy and talking about Republican policies, why the Republican Party, why the conservative movement provides the best solutions to America. He's going to continue to rule out running for president, I think, and that echoes something that Chairman previously said, which is we firmly believe that one of the three candidates that's going to Cleveland will be the nominee. And so it helps to sort of undermine some of this speculation that's continuing to swirl no matter how many times he says it himself.
So, Sean, did you at the RNC encourage Speaker Ryan to make a statement like this, or did Speaker Ryan come to you? You know what, I need to say this and help unify our party behind the eventual nominee that is one of the three remaining candidates?
Well, as far as I know, he made this decision on his own. And he, again, as you've noted and I just mentioned, I mean, the Speaker has said this multiple times, that he has no intention of seeking the presidency, that his job is to be Speaker of the House, to set the agenda, to put forth legislation and policies that will make the country a better place. So, you know, this is just him having to reiterate it again because of a lot of the nonsense and speculation that swirled around despite his previous attempts to quell it.
Well, and I think that there's been a lot of issue drummed up on the campaign from the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, talking about the system or his contempt for how the nomination process plays out when it comes to the delegates. So I want to play for everybody what Donald Trump had to say about the results of the Colorado convention. Take a listen.
You ever hear them where they say, it doesn't matter who you vote for. This is a great democracy. Well, we found out in Colorado and in other places, this is not a democracy like we're supposed to have. We're going to make it a better democracy, all right? A better and a fair democracy. And we're not going to have rigged elections in the Republican Party anymore.
So, Sean, obviously the National Party does not control what the state of Colorado does, but what do you say to Trump supporters who say that what they saw out of Colorado and how it changed the system last year to a convention from a presidential preference poll is less fair and does seem rigged?
Well, Thomas, I would point to the fact they did have a convention 4 years ago. The rules that Colorado and every other state and territory in the District of Columbia put forward were filed last October with the RNC. They were available to every campaign to understand the process. And in fact, when you take Colorado as the example, because it's in the news, the process in Colorado is a four-step process. It went from precinct level to the county level, to the congressional level, to the statewide process. So if you're a campaign and you don't understand the process that's going on, you know, then that's bad on the staff, that's bad on the campaign. But the process for each of these states has been available to every one of them since last year. It's incumbent upon every campaign, whether or not you're running for president or mayor or Congress, to understand what it takes, when you need people to get to vote, when, you know, the process for absentee votes, what it takes to become a delegate to the precinct or county convention. But running for office entails putting a campaign together that understands the process. There's nothing rigged. It's all out in the open. It's for anyone to see. And so I understand that people sometimes don't like the process or may not understand it, but that doesn't mean it's not fair and open and transparent.
So when it comes to October, and you talk about what was baked into the cake for Colorado, also for New York in the primary, October 9th, you had to be registered for either party. And here in New York next week, two of Donald Trump's own children, they can't vote for their dad because they didn't file as a Republican in time. So as the RNC looks at the 50-state strategy, should restrictions on how people are allowed to participate in the primary and the general elections be reevaluated as a hiccup like that is revealed?
Well, that, with all due respect, that's not a hiccup, Thomas. I mean, everybody understands. Well, no, I live in Virginia. It's very clear what it takes to register to vote in Virginia. They make it really easy. They allow for certain things if you want to vote absentee. I think understanding the process is part of the electoral system. It's part of being a good citizen. So just because someone misses a deadline doesn't mean that you review the whole system. Whether it's, you know, as you pointed out, registering to vote, or in Colorado, these processes for each state are made very clear on websites and out in the open, and there's a lot of voter information that's available. Just because somebody missed a deadline or didn't understand the process, that doesn't mean the process is bad. Now, and with respect to Colorado, one last thing is that every one of those campaigns had an opportunity to have people there. I didn't hear any complaints about Colorado's process before the Colorado vote took place. So I think all of the campaigns understand in each of these states how they're going, what the process is that are going to work, what they need to do to organize and be ready, and it's up to them to do that, not to turn around and then blame the system if it doesn't turn out.
So let's talk about the convention, because we have under 100 days to go. How much anticipation is going into the planning, and what's going to take place in Cleveland as we're kind of swooping through the spring and everything is quite undecided?
That's right. I think we've pretty much recognized that we're going to go to June 7th before we definitely know that we'll have an open convention or not. On June 7th, we've got 303 delegates up, 172 in California alone. Once that date goes and passes and we realize either we're going to have one of the candidates with 1,237 delegates, they will become the presumptive nominee if those are bound delegates. If not, we'll go to an open convention. And I think that we're going to have an opportunity as a party to display a lot of the values and principles that make Republicans put Republican values and solutions forefront for America, but also be able to show the American people and, frankly, the world what an open and honest and transparent and democratic process that takes place. This might not have taken place the last few decades, I understand that, but I think the Republican Party is going to put on the best convention in history and allow the eyes of the world to watch how democracy actually works, how delegates who've been elected at the grassroots level come and then, you know, vote out in the open for all to see and choose a nominee of a major party.
So we know that Donald Trump will likely go into the convention with the delegate lead, Sean. So if he does not emerge as the nominee, do you think you risk losing some of your most loyal voters, say if Trump strikes out as a third-party independent?
Well, I understand. Look, Thomas, no one, someone's got to lose, right? You've got three individuals going into Cleveland. Only one of them can come out and be successful. And I understand there's going to be two individuals that are probably not exactly happy. But I think that what we want to do is make sure that everyone understands that the process is fair, open, and transparent, and unite the party as we come out of Cleveland and understand what the big prize is. Understand that Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders would take this country in a very different trajectory than any of the three individuals that are currently headed to Cleveland right now. So I think that everyone in our party needs to understand that their job is to get the support and votes that they need to secure 1237. But when they fall short, and if they fall short, they need to unite together as a team and as a party so that we can win in November.
All right, well, I think it's an understatement to say it is going to be hot in Cleveland this summer. Sean Spicer with the RNC. Sean, great to see you. Thanks for your time.
Good to see you, Thomas.